Unless otherwise indicated, all the following scripture quotations are taken from the Holy Bible, New Living Translation, with copyright by Tyndale House Foundation, used by permission of Tyndale House Publishers, all rights reserved.
So, I read an article recently about political parties in the UK wanting the monarchy to fall. This got me thinking, why does anyone need a monarchy anyway? And is this the end of the royal family? Hi, I'm PG Pie. Welcome back to my channel, and this is a mini applause for you. Why do you get a mini applause? Because you are quite simply amazing, and because you made it through yesterday and today. And since I have faith that no matter what you're going through, you're gonna make it through to tomorrow, why don't you just hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be here when I post another video. Okie dokie, let's talk about the royals, shall we? They have had quite a number of scandals in the past few years, and let's be honest, I'm not too certain they're gonna make it through another decade. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get on to it. Okie dokie. One of the issues that I was thinking about when it comes to the monarchy is a lack of diversity. Something that I've noticed in the general public is that people are looking for representation everywhere, especially people that weren't able to be represented before. And unfortunately, the monarchy is not really fitting the bill. It's like fair-skinned or white, if you prefer that kind of term, people who are in charge of a large group of people, but they inherently don't have any skills to be placed in charge of that group of people, and they just get to be in that position of power because they were born there. And like I said, it's very, very much lacking diversity and very much lacking sort of differentiating viewpoints. So I really feel that this is one of the reasons why people will probably want to vote for the monarchy to fall off in a couple of years, possibly. Okay, number 2, secrets and lies. Okay, so if you have been watching the news even a little bit in the past couple months, you know that Prince Andrew, I don't know if I should call him former Prince Andrew or something, has had massive scandals due to the whole situation that's going on with his alleged sexual assault or abuse of a minor in relation to the, I think that you say her name is Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. And so it's a huge case, and considering that he's a royal, it's obviously drawing negative attention to the royal family, who's in the past few years been experiencing a lot of negative publicity. And though the Queen, or the Queen's office really, left a statement saying that the prince is not allowed to use from like the royal funds, which actually come from the taxpayers, by the way, to pay for his court case, and they are stripping him from like his military titles and his patronages, right? Their response left a little bit, well, quite a bit to be desired, in my opinion. The way I think that they could have handled the situation is to publicly address the issues regarding young women, underage women, and sexual abuse of minors or women in general, the abuse of power of men in positions of power. And also they could have actually really stood behind victims, and they really could have used this as a force for good, but instead they kind of just stripped him of his titles and were like, okay, this has nothing to do with the royal family now. So it was really like getting swept under the rug, and this kind of tactic is not working. The audience, or the public so to speak, is not fooled anymore by this kind of I don't know, like media cover up. We're not fooled by that. We are a different kind of audience, I guess, than what they're used to and what used to be around a couple hundred years ago, right? Another thing is that I don't feel that they dealt with the allegations, so to speak, from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry about their son's skin color, and also about the bullying allegations against her, and like whatever's going on in the palace. I think that it's been so far like ridiculous that the response is so mediocre. I think that if the royal family wants to still stay relevant, they need to actually have a really, really strong stance, because that's what we're starting to see now that people are looking for from governments and from churches, from all institutions really. We want people that have a strong stance on what is right and what is wrong for the organization or for the country as a whole. And so this lukewarm responses to serious allegations are just not going to fly with the general public, and I think that they are not learning nearly fast enough to be still relevant in a couple of years' time, right? Now, number 3, the wants and the desires essentially of the public keeps being ignored, right? And when I'm thinking about this, I'm talking about the royals that are generally in a favorable light in the public, which tend to be people like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and Princess Diana, right? So these are like the fan favorites of everyone when it comes to the royal family, but they are often the ones that are the most ill-treated or the most repressed individuals within the group. Essentially, they are like the underdogs or the outliers of the royal family, and it's possibly one of the reasons why people like them so much. But what's happening is that this oppression from the royal family is not flying with the public. We fly with our underdogs and outliers in a sense. And so if the monarchy utilize the abilities properly, the people that are considered these outliers, the monarchy probably may be more popular than ever and be seen in a much more favorable light than what we're seeing right now. Okay, number 4, the monarchy is actually really expensive. In case you didn't know, the taxpayers are paying for the queen and for all of her parties and for her lavish lifestyle and for her whole family. And the taxpayers are also not allowed to, I read this in an article which I will link in the description, that the amount of money that is given to the Queen's yearly budget is actually not allowed to be lowered, despite the fact that a whole bunch of different sectors in the government of the UK actually have their costs lowered sometimes, their budgets lowered, but the Queen's budget doesn't get lowered. So that's a little strange. I don't know if that has changed because I'm not too familiar with UK law and all that kind of stuff like that, or British law, but that sounds a little problematic there. Apparently in 2010 the Queen cost taxpayers something like $138 million or million pounds, I think it was, which is a ridiculous sum to be sure. So the monarchy is really expensive, right? Also, number 5, the Queen doesn't actually have much official power. So she only has some sort of swaying power when there's a hang vote in Parliament. But that's really it. Because I'm assuming that people wouldn't want to hand over the power of that decision to one individual. So they'd probably come to solutions more often than not on their own. So she's not really in that position of power. Next, number 6, there's growing dissatisfaction with monarchies due to the fact that they sort of endorse this hierarchical system of we are the royals because we were royal at birth, and a lot of people are like, oh, this is not flying, you're not more important than me just because you were born to somebody else, or there's nothing really that's qualifying you to be a leader other than the fact that you were born to someone who was a leader, and that's not good. As we're seeing in the case of Prince Andrew right now, this is more true than ever before, right? And then number 7, monarchies are becoming what they are. They are actually symbols of oppression and systems that no longer work in lieu of, or in the view of democracy. In the view of democracy, which is a system in which we vote for the things that we want as part of our society, a monarchy doesn't fit there, because you don't get to vote for your king. Your king becomes your king due to some sort of act or due to birth, and it's not a democratic process, and it removes the ability of a lot of voices to have their opinions heard when it comes to ruling and running a country or a group of people. And so I think these are some of the reasons why monarchy is probably on its way out in the next few years. Another thing is that they are no longer being romanticized. people don't really care about being princesses and princes and kings and queens anymore. It's not a big concern for people. So I thought that was quite interesting. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I would love it if you could let me know, because I love reading comments. I am on Quora and I am super addicted to Quora. It's a lot of fun. You should check Quora out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I would love it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. All the links are in the description, and just stay tuned for your scripture of the day. The scripture of the day comes from Philippians 1 verse 3, which says, "Every time I think of you, I give thanks to my God." Alrighty, I hope that you enjoyed this video. What are your thoughts on the monarchy? Seriously, I'm really interested in hearing what you've got to say, because I think that it's on its way out in a serious way. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a phenomenal day further, because you deserve it. Cheerio.
그대 잠깐 눈을 붙일 때 나는 마음에 물을 붙여요. 비밀의 나만의 초콜릿. 그대 차가운 몸을 녹일 때 나는 초콜릿